Hello, dear everyone. My name is Dr. Elena Vatutina. I'm founder and CEO of Yala RX Solution. And I'm so happy and so proud to introduce to you the course of lectures about the GCC pharmaceutical market. Let me just say briefly about Yala RX. I think I need to explain why we are doing this course and what this course will be about and why we finally decided to make this course happen. So Yala RX is the data-driven solution, tech solution for pharmaceutical market players. Basically, we are making pharmaceutical companies connected with local market players to help them to launch their sales in the region. And we are in this region since 2019, and we have seen so many cases, very successful cases, failures of different molecules. And while meeting with pharmaceutical companies, we understand that there are similar questions which bothers you. You are facing the similar difficulties, the similar barriers, and we understood that making this course would help to solve so many questions. And I have seen so many cases when a pharmaceutical production site is launching the region, the sales over here in the region, not understanding the specifics, not understanding the nuances of doing business over here. And this creates a lot of difficulties for you. And we saw when the molecules of a certain production site was stuck with a certain distributor, and this created the limitations for you guys. And also I saw that some companies have already lost the hope to enter to this market, and understanding that, okay, this is desert, we do not understand anything about desert, let's not get in touch with it. So I hope that this course of lectures will open up the understanding of this market for you, and you will think once again that probably this market can be attractive for you. And I want to say this special thanks to the team of Yala RX and to all of our key opinion leaders who are involved in making this course happen, because we are making this big job for you guys, and we are making this job for the companies who also can see the opportunities in the GCC region in terms of healthcare. So let me start with some definitions. We can see that there are some confusions in terms when it goes about MENA region, GCC, and Middle East. So sometimes I can see that you guys do not understand what is what exactly. And that's why I want to make this picture absolutely clear at this point of time, so we are not getting back to it further. So when it goes about MENA region is 21, 22 countries in the Middle East and North Africa, with a population around 500 billion of people. GCC is the region in the MENA, which includes 6 countries which are deeply connected as European Union or as United States and Canada. When we speak about Middle East, so Middle East is more about historical term, and it doesn't include some of the countries which are in the MENA region. And it includes some extra countries which doesn't go into the definition of economy of the MENA region. That's why going through this course, I would suggest to operate with the term of MENA for Middle East and North Africa, and GCC as a particular region which has the fastest growing economy in the entire region. So why GCC? As I have already said, the GDP of this region is the fastest in its growth in the entire MENA region. And when it goes about pharmaceutical market size, It is slightly smaller rather than the market in the US or in Canada, but still it is around 20 billion of US dollars yearly in the prices of pharmacy prices. And when we look at the region, so here on the slide, you can see which countries are located, and the main player is Saudi Arabia. I remember how weird we looked alike when we went to European countries, to European companies, and we were speaking about Saudi Arabia. And personally, I was asked a question like, how you guys can deal with Saudi Arabia? I can say you for sure that within last 2 years, Saudi Arabia went through tremendous changes in terms of political life, economy life, and social life. Maybe it will sound somehow funny, but with women already allowed to drive there. Means in some time, making huge investments into the economy, Saudi Arabia will boom, and it will be equally attractive to and equally easy to make business in it as, for example, the United Arab Emirates. And when it goes about pharmaceutical market, it is around half of the market share which goes to Saudi Arabia. That's why doing business in GCC, you can be located in United Arab Emirates, very comfortable place to stay, but you need always to keep in mind that your main market and your main focus should go to the Saudi Arabia, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And when it goes about governmental policies, Saudi Arabia, as well as United Arab Emirates, they have the policies 2030 that by that moment, the measure of medications which are in the market would be highlighted with made in Saudi Arabia symbol. So I would suggest to go slightly deeper into understanding the market and understanding the main focus in medical policies. Over here in the slides, you can see some basic reasons of death in territories of the GCC. And I want to highlight that the major problems goes to cardiovascular disorders, cancers, oncology, and diabetes. And the special worries of the government and the special worries of the society goes to the diabetes of kids. And right now, so many kids, around every second person over here is being diagnosed with diabetes, which is not so good. When it goes about general spendings to the healthcare, in GCC, it's around 1.4, 1.5 of thousands of US dollars yearly. Of course, it's not that high as, for example, in the United Kingdom or in the United States. Of course, it's lower rather than in Europe, which is around 3.4, 3.5 thousands of US dollars yearly. But if we look at the trend, we need to confess that these spendings are growing and the trend is positive. Means in some time, this figure of healthcare spendings will reach the figure of Europe. And currently, the government of Saudi Arabia and the government of the UAE, they have the policy and they have the vision to make this region as the most attractive to live. And that's why the investments into healthcare system organically will be growing up. When we look at the region from the terms of regulatory affairs in healthcare, it's all regulated by local ministries of healthcare. For example, in the UAE, this authority is called Ministry of Healthcare and Prevention. In Bahrain, this is Ministry of Healthcare of Kingdom of Bahrain. But I need to highlight the main thing that Saudi FDA, the main authority for healthcare in Saudi Arabia is the reference authority for all other authorities in the GCC region. What does it mean for you guys? It means that Saudi FDA can make your life easier. And if you make the accreditation for your production site in Saudi FDA, it would be much easier to approve it in UAE, in Oman, in Qatar, and in other countries. If you accredit your production site, for example, in the UAE, means you need to go through some bureaucracy procedures with Saudi FDA to launch your sales in Saudi Arabia. The same goes with the medications which are registered. And I want to highlight that if you want to keep your stock over here in the region, so you need to make your medicines registered due to the local policies. Here are some market figures, and basically this is one of my favorite slides because it shows the structure of sales and structure of market in general. So as you can see, here are so many companies who are importing goods into territories of GCC. At the same moment, the number of molecules which are registered and being kept on stock over here is not that high. It's around 11,000, the biggest figure. In Saudi Arabia, it's around 7.8 thousands. At the same moment, the number of distribution companies who are dealing with the certain number of healthcare providers, means hospitals and pharmacies, are very high. So this figure is higher rather than in US, in Canada, in European Union. What can we conclude out of these figures? That this market is fragmented at this moment, that the concentration of distributors are very low, and the share which top 10 distributors are holding is not that high. Later on in the future lectures, I will also highlight some key market players, and we will show what amount of portfolio each of the distribution company is holding, and you will be able to compare these figures with your current markets where you are presenting. And you will see that the average portfolio of the local distributor is much smaller rather than average portfolio of the European distributor, an example. Actually, my background goes to the pharmaceutical distribution. I started my professional way in pharma in 2004 when I joined one of the pharmaceutical distribution company. And all my professional childhood, as I'm calling it, happened by visiting different warehouses. And I understand what are the best practices of technologies in pharmaceutical distribution warehouse. And I need to confess that when I came over here in the region and when I visited local distributions, I can see that here is so much to be done over here to make this market developed. And on the one hand, this can be taken as lots of barriers, lots of chaos, not understanding how to work in these conditions and in these circumstances. But in the same time, this is the greatest opportunity because companies who are launching their sales over here in the region now will get benefits within the nearest 5 years. And if you just miss this opportunity, the opportunities will